Hey guys, it's Scott from Scott Girl Podcast. Welcome to Rewatch Revisit Review, our new weekly video series where I rewatch a movie I haven't seen in a while, talk about my thoughts after revisiting it, and then give you guys my review about that movie. So this week I'm going to be talking about The World's End, starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost again. They're back together with Edgar Wright for the third installment in what's known as the Cornetto trilogy, which I meant to look up more about, but I didn't before making this video. Anyways, if you guys haven't seen the first video, because this is only the second in this new video series, what I'm going to be doing is telling you about my thoughts about rewatching it, give you my thoughts about after revisiting it, and then give you my review at the end. Alright guys, so let's just get started. So in case you guys haven't gotten to rewatching this yet or haven't seen this at all, I'm just going to give you the quick IMDb plot summary for this, the little teaser thing that lets you know what the basic premise of the movie. So that says 20 years ago, after attempting an epic pub crawl, 5 childhood friends reunite when one of them becomes hell-bent on trying that pub crawl again. They're convinced to stage an encore by their mate, Gary King, who is played by Simon Pegg, a 40-year-old man trapped at the cigarette end of his teens, which I don't really know what that means, but that's one of the taglines. So he drags all his reluctant buddies back to their hometown to once again try to reach the fabled pub, The World's End. As they attempt to reconcile the past and the present, they realize the real struggle is for the future, but not just theirs, but for all mankind's. Anyways, so the point is they're trying to reach the world's end is the least of their worries. The World's End is the name of the pub at the end of the pub crawl. So that's an IMDb summary, guys. I just rewatched this the other day. I checked it out on Canadian Netflix. I'm in Canada, and that's the Netflix we get there. So it is on Canadian Netflix. I also looked up and saw that it is also available on the US and UK Netflix as well, so it seems most people should be able to watch this. If you're in one of the countries that doesn't fall under those three, you have to look it up yourself. I'm sorry, it's hard to Google those things. So my thoughts after revisiting The World's End is that I enjoyed watching it, but there was a reason I haven't watched this in forever. I personally like the first 2 installments in the Cornetto trilogy, Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, a lot better than this. But after rewatching it, I did kind of be like, why haven't I watched this in a while? Because it does have some fun fight and action scenes, because you get to see all these kind of nerdy kind of dudes take on these robot alien things, but they just get to be brutal and just knocks them out. It kind of reminds me of like an early Kingsman type action sequence. That's like rewatching it, I'm just like, oh, this is kind of like before, it has that same kind of action feel that the Kingsman now has, having come out several years after this one. But in general, the reason I haven't really like rewatched this is because Simon Pegg's character is a little depressing in it. That's one thing, and the ending. If you think too much about this whole movie, it becomes a little depressing. But then you just gotta remember, you're gonna put this in the context that it is a fictional character written to be this particular way. So you can't get too invested in the fact that he's kind of depressing. But still, it's still a fun, kind of pretty funny film. It's interesting to see, and those are my thoughts after revisiting it, guys. Okay guys, so before I give you my personal review about it, I'm just going to let you know about the audience and the critics' ratings for this. So on IMDb, the rating for this is 7 out of 10, and then we go to Rotten Tomatoes, we see the critics gave it a 89% on the tomato meter with a 7.4 out of 10 average score, and then the audiences gave it a 71 on the tomato meter with the same average score, 7.4 out of 10. And then we go to Metacritic and we can see that that's an 81. And as you can see across all the different movie critique sites that everyone generally liked this film. It's a pretty good film. I enjoyed it. It seems that critics maybe liked it just a little bit more than audiences did, even though the scores tend to be pretty close. It seems that more critics liked it than audience members, but the audience members still rated it higher, the ones that did. But overall, it's still a good film. I think that audiences and critics alike can agree. So my personal rating for this is a 1.5 thumbs ups, which is pretty good. That's my second highest rating. This doesn't get 2 thumbs up because, again, like I said before, it has a little bit of things that I just don't love about this. Like I said, the main character, Simon Pegg's character, is a little bit depressing, like the fact that he wants to go relive his kind of glory days or try to recapture those glory days. It's a little depressing in that matter, but other than that, if you kind of treat that as the MacGuffin of this film, and after that it still is a fun and entertaining and a very unique, like, kind of secret alien invasion movie, because it's not like your typical, oh, there's a bunch of alien ships coming down and attacking everything like an Independence Day type alien invasion. It has more of this kind of like, oh, they're slowly taking over, they're only changing you if you don't agree with them kind of thing. It's a little more subtle, it's cool, it's interesting, it's still fun, but like I said, it doesn't quite get the 2 thumbs up just because of a few little things I didn't love about it. But my favorite part about this film is definitely all the fight scenes between the main characters and these robot alien things. They got blue ink inside instead of blood, and their heads just pop off like they're some kind of doll. I don't know. I never had a doll. Maybe an action. I don't know. They pop apart really easily. They just pop their heads off. Blue ink flies everywhere. It's fun though. It's fun. It's really interesting to see these guys. These kind of nerdy group of guys, especially these particular actors like Simon Pegg, Nick Frost. We get Martin Freeman in there kicking some ass. I'm pretty sure this is the biggest action scene I've ever seen him truly in, because, you know, in like the Hobbits, he's mostly running away, and he hasn't really done much in any of the in the Marvel universe yet. But this one, he's kicking some robot ass, and I really enjoyed that. That was probably one of my favorite things. My second favorite thing about this was I like the fact that they made Nick Frost's character the grown-up of the group. Normally he's playing kind of like the guy who forgot to grow up. Yeah. But he's normally that guy, like the grown child man. And I like that this one they kind of flipped that role, and that Simon Pegg's the guy who never grew up, and that Nick Frost is this grown-up who's like just sick of Simon Pegg's character's shit, and just they had a little bit of a falling out, but overall they generally get along. But that's one of the things I like about this one, though, is that they switched that dynamic up between those two guys, because they play so well off of one another. It's kind of interesting to see them kind of being like having a little bit of like tension between them in this film, and they do a really good job. Like, they can pretend to have tension, so it's pretty good. I like that. That was my second favorite part of the film. So lastly, guys, I just have my recommendation for you guys, which is I would recommend this film. I gave it a 1.5 thumbs up. Audiences and critics all agree that this is a pretty good film. It gets like a B+ or an A- kind of score, but which is really good for a movie. This is a fun, entertaining film. I think anybody who's a fan of Simon Pegg or Nick Frost, or even Edgar Wright, who's the director, or any of the Cornetto trilogy, if you've seen Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead and you haven't watched this one yet, then I'm not sure what you're missing. Like, you should watch this because it kind of fits in, has that same style between them. It's interesting to see how they kind of bookend this trilogy with this one. I'd also say anybody who liked the Mars Attack style of alien invasion movies, so like a little less serious, a little bit more fun. You get these wacky aliens doing weird stuff, and a group of characters that are just kind of interesting in dealing with it. So that's how I feel. That's the movie I would equate this to, and if you like that movie, you'd like this movie too, or anybody you know who would like that would like this too. But that's the end of our Rewatch Revisit review for The World's End. Let me know, guys, in the comments below what you guys thought of The World's End. Did you guys like this movie? Did you not? Have you seen it yet? Have you not? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know, guys, what movies you guys would like to hear in the future. What would you like me to rewatch or revisit? I'll let you know if it's actually something I've watched before or not. But anyways, thanks for watching this week, guys. Have a good one.